I can remember referring to it as the M word. It's only because it makes people uncomfortable because they think menopause and they think dry vaginas and they think there's nothing you can do about that. But Sharon Malone says there is something you can do about that.
There is.
We can still be juicy after menopause.
Absolutely. And we want that for you. Before we begin, I want to ground this conversation in something that's very important. Menopause is the one universal female experience. However, it is a personal journey, and how menopause and perimenopause shows up for you is going to be based on your race, your age, your family history, and your health history. Black women enter menopause on average a year earlier. They have symptoms that are more severe and last longer, up to a decade. Currently, less than 1% of Black women take hormone therapy, even though they suffer most. Bias in medicine and cultural misperceptions from clinicians and from patients play a role. And today, we're going to discuss both of these with my guest, Gayle King. She's a journalist, the co-host of CBS Mornings, space traveler, Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, and an all-around bon vivant. Gayle is the definition of thriving after 60 and one of the most upbeat, grounded people I know. Welcome to The Second Opinion, Gayle.
Thanks, Sharon. I feel the same about you. You know, you throw me when you say space traveler. I mean, that still throws me a little bit. You know, we're here in the Oprah Daily offices, where my second job, and I just feel I want to live life at full gallop, and that's what I'm doing. This so-called second half of life.
Oh, I get it. I mean, you know, I'm there with you.
I know you do too.
I get it. And this is
You're not sitting around eating bonbons.
No, we're not. This is the decades of saying yes. But,
yes.
You know, I want to tell you, because we're going to talk about, you know, not just menopause and perimenopause, my favorite topics, but we're also going to talk about thriving after 60. But, you know, before we get going, I just want you to know the role that you played in sort of helping my career move along in the menopause front. And I don't know if you remember.
What do you mean? No.
I don't know if you remember this, Gayle, but I accosted you at a party a few years ago, and I was like, "Hey, Gayle, I'm leaving my job and I'm getting ready to do this menopause thing with the company Alloy. It hadn't even really started yet." And I hit you up right at a party and I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And you have been so instrumental in making that transition because, again, I don't know if you remember, but you invited me to one of these conversations about menopause at Gloria Steinem's apartment in New York.
Yes, so, I do remember. But it's so funny. I wouldn't use the word accosted. Number one, you know, Sharon Malone, I know listeners know this, is very well accomplished. She's a badass. She knows what she's doing. So when she says, I have an idea, or this is what I'm thinking, who ain't going to listen to that? And when I heard it, and this is how life works, because at the time when we were talking about it, the Gloria Steinem thing wasn't even on my radar. And then a couple weeks after that, I went, hey, I know somebody. I just heard, you guys know Dr. Sharon Malone, blah, 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 blah. So it's funny. It just goes to show you use the word accost, but I think it's good to share what's going on because you never know what's going on in people's lives. Who knows somebody, who knows somebody, who knows somebody. And now look at this topic. It's blowing up.
It is blowing up.
You can take some credit for that. You can take some credit for that.
I'm going to give credit to, you know, all the people who have kind of made this happen. And really, Oprah is one of them. Oprah's been talking about menopause for a long time. And Michelle Obama, you know, she and I did a podcast again 5 years ago. And she was one of the first people.
Was it 5 years?
It was 5 years you guys
did
was
that?
2020.
Wow.
And the reason I remember that because it was COVID. And she had to rework her whole idea about how to do a podcast. See, we weren't doing a thing like this where you could be in New York and I could be here in DC. Everybody thought you had to be in studio. But she and I had a conversation about menopause and again, changed everything. So shout out to all these women who have made it normal and sort of destigmatized this conversation.
Yes. Agree. Because nobody talked about it before.
No.
It was something that, you know, I can remember referring to it as the M word. It's only because it makes people uncomfortable because they think menopause and they think dry vaginas and they think there's nothing you can do about that. But Sharon Malone says there is something you can do about that.
There is.
We can still be juicy after menopause.
Absolutely. And we want that for you. We want that for you. Now,
Yes,
Gayle, I want to go back. What did you even know about menopause before entering this space?
Well, this is terrible. It's sort of embarrassing by how much I did not know. And by that, I mean, I knew nothing. I knew nothing. I knew that we went through menopause, that I had the same thing about your it's dry, your vagina's dry, you lose all sorts of libido, it's uncomfortable, you have these wicked hot flashes, which I had, and still do, by the way. But it's nothing, I just thought it's like, it's just something we have to go through in life. But you have to think about this. When I first got my period, I was 11. And my mom was away. And I remember it doesn't start as blood. For me, it was a dark brown, terrible color. And when I went to my grandmother to say, what is happening to me? What is this? She goes, oh, you're going to have to wait till your mother comes home. Till my mother comes home. What is this? So I was raised in a thing where they didn't talk about it. So when you said, what do you know about menopause? Nothing. Also, I didn't even know the term perimenopause, which, as you know, your periods are infrequent. At times I thought it was a crime scene because there's a lot of clotting. So I didn't know what that was. So when you said, what did I know? Not really a whole hell of a lot. I didn't know.
So when you started this whole process, now that you know what you were going through, how old were you at that time?
I would say, they told you that menopause means when you haven't had a period for a year.
Right.
That's what I knew.
Right.
And didn't really know about perimenopause. So I guess maybe late 40s, mid 40s, something like that.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty typical.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Because we didn't really
I was
talk
on
about
schedule for it.
Yeah.
But before then, I had this thing called perimenopause where I just thought, what is happening to me? But I didn't have a name for it.
And you are not alone in that. That's sort of how most women up until today are still sort of entering this menopausal phase, and they don't realize that those symptoms start well before.
Exactly.
Well before those 12 months.
Where were you when I needed you, Sharon Malone? Where were you?
I know, because I have been out here. I've been having this conversation for
I know you have, yes.
decades. So you see, you were seeing your GYN. Did your GYN not say anything to you about perimenopause or menopause?
Not really, no.
And when you were having these sort of crime scene periods, and that is very common as well.
Yeah, it can get very graphic.
Yeah.
It gets very unsightly.
Yeah. Did you mention it?
That's a good question. But even when I mentioned it, it wasn't something that I thought, oh, this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been, oh, it's just irregular, it's temporary, it's nothing you have to worry about. But I wasn't told that this is a natural course of things, But I had to have mentioned it because I wouldn't have kept this to myself because it was alarming to me because I didn't quite know what it is.
Well, how long did that go on for, these symptoms before? I mean, was it years?
Yeah, I would say it lasted a couple years, yeah. In addition to, you have your regular period too.
Right.
Right.
And
then when your period goes, I actually missed her. Then I thought, oh no, she's not coming back. After years of wishing I would be done with it, then when it left, I went, oh no, come back. Just don't come back with all the mess, but come back.
Yeah.
Because I knew that was a transition that meant older. I remember when my mom turned 50, so I had to be 30 something, I guess, because she had me when she was early 20s. But when she turned 50, I thought, God, she's really old. I remember thinking that. And I used to think, okay, if I could live to 70, 80, that's good. That's good. That would be a good life. Now that I sit here at 71, I'm thinking, what does 90 look like? What does 90 look like?
Exactly. Well, that's what we're going to try to get to. And I think that there is a little bit about, obviously there is our genetics that we can't do much about that.
Yeah.
But you said something that was really important. And you said that once your period left, you missed her because it meant something to you emotionally. It meant, did that feel like getting old to you? That's what happened to,
Even though at the time I didn't feel old myself. Listen, I sit here at 71, honest to God, I still don't feel old. But just psychologically, I knew that meant another phase of life. But I didn't feel bad about it, but I did think about it. I did mark it. I did clock it like, okay, now you're on the quote, other side or your next chapter, whatever that means to you.
I think that the choices that we make in our lives are important about how we get through this whole menopause transition. And, and even we know that menopause is going to happen to all of us, not optional.
If we're lucky.
If we're lucky. That's right.
You want to hope you make it to menopause,
That is exactly right. And I think that now we are able to consider what are the options about what to do, what not to do. But
that's why I think it's so important to talk about this, Sharon, so that young women coming up today don't have to be afraid, don't have to be ashamed, to know that it's perfectly normal and that you can go through it and still feel so vibrant and so alive. That's why I wanted to sit down and talk to you, because if there's anything we can change, I want to change the perception of that.
You sort of had an advantage. You've got your best friend who's also going through this around the same time that you are. And the story that Oprah told really sort of stopped me in my tracks, that she was going through this. Oprah was going through this and had no idea about what her perimenopausal symptoms were either.
Yep. And we didn't even say, hey, I do remember asking her, was she having clotting like this? And she wasn't. And she wasn't having hot flashes. My mom had wicked hot flashes too. Oprah's never had a hot flash. So that's the other thing women need to understand. People have different symptoms. Right. Some of it is hereditary, but even Oprah, with all her knowledge and all her access, wasn't aware of what was happening to her.
This February, I've been thinking a lot about how we show ourselves and the people we love a little extra care. For me, that starts at home, and Cozy Earth makes it effortless. Their bamboo pajama set is lightweight, soft, and keeps you perfectly comfortable all night, so slipping into bed becomes something you actually look forward to. And their classic cuddle blanket, rich, plush, and irresistibly cozy, it's like a warm hug you never want to let go of. Cozy Earth is all about elevating the everyday with better materials, thoughtful design, and long-lasting quality. Whether it's for self-care or a Valentine's gift, their products turn simple moments at home into little escapes of comfort and calm. And the best part? You can try anything risk-free with a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. Honestly, once you feel this kind of comfort, it's hard to go back. Share a little extra love this February and wrap yourself or someone you care about in comfort that truly feels special. Head to CozyEarth.com and use my code SECONDOPINION for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Celebrate everyday love with comfort that makes the little moments count. All right, so Oprah chose a path. She did hormone therapy. And was very happy and doing well. And you chose not to.
Yes.
Now, why did you choose not to?
Because years ago, Sharon, I had heard about that study that hormone replacement therapy ups your chances of breast cancer. And so I said, I'm not doing that. I remember when she started it. And she was saying how it was life-changing and game-changing and I should try it. And I went, nope, I'm not doing it, because I remember that study. Cut to, years later when I'm sitting with you at Glorious Time, and people were saying, but that study was wrong, incorrect, false information, but I still clung to that. And then when it got to the point, Sharon, that I thought, I think I'll do a little something. You can go past the point where it's no longer effective. And I was certainly past that point. If I had to do it over again, I would definitely do hormone replacement therapy. Definitely. but I didn't. And I've regretted it because to this day, I still sometimes have hot flashes, and there's no reason why I should be having a damn hot flash, but I do.
Well, how were you able to do your job? I mean, given what you do, you're on camera. How do you do that and you're having a hot flash?
Well, because there are times that you would be sweating profusely and the crew would say, "You okay?" "I'm just having a hot flash." I can remember being on a red carpet and the paparazzi screaming, "Gayle, Gayle." And this guy threw me a towel. "Here, dear, you need one of these." I mean, I've always been a person you just power through. And back then you didn't really want to say what it was. Now I just say, "Yeah, I'm having a hot flash. Somebody give me a towel." But back, you just power through it. You just power through it.
I have a theory, and my theory is that women, all of us, just sort of incorporate sort of that suffering narrative into our lifestyles. Oh, as women, it's what we do. We have cramps. Yes. Oh, we've got PMS. Yes. We've got this and gone. And it's almost...
nobody knows the trouble I done seen. Yes.
But it's almost the expectation that we just think of, all right, well, this is just the latest in the litany of sufferings that I've gone through my entire life. And we're oftentimes not complaining about them because you figure it's normal. It's normal.
We think that's how it is.
Right. Right.
We hear other women going through the same thing. So you go that, but that's what I love. Your line in your book where you don't have to suffer.
Right.
That's the line you say. You don't have to suffer.
You don't.
And I'm sort of like, you don't? Yeah, you don't have to suffer.
No. And the funny story is that, I have a very similar one that my best friend who's here, and she's just a couple of years older than me. But, I've been trying to tell people that the Women's Health Initiative, that study that changed everything, that told people, oh my goodness, you're going to get breast cancer and heart disease and dementia.
It's going to increase your chances. Yes.
It never really said that. And,
it never said that?
It never said that. Well, let's just say the data never said that.
Oh, okay.
Because I tell you why it never really said that it causes breast cancer, even though that was certainly the impression that went out to the press.
Sharon, that was definitely the takeaway.
Yeah, it was.
That was definitely the takeaway in the headline.
Yes, because, and I'll tell you why, I will spare you all the nitty-gritty details. Even if you took it at face value, the increased incidence of breast cancer in that study, it was only an additional 1 in 1,000 women per year were diagnosed with breast cancer, not in the hormone group, and not an increase in the risk for women who were on estrogen only. And if I told you that you could take this medication and your hot flashes will go away and you'll sleep through the night. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, you'll feel better and that brain fog will go away. And even if it were true, if you said, but it's an additional 1 in 1,000 cases of breast cancer, of non-fatal breast cancer. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, that part. Yes.
Increase in the risk of dying. And there were so many benefits, and it never really got presented in a balanced way. So again, I've been preaching this gospel. It's okay. You can do it. It's fine. But I want everyone to understand that whatever it is that you decide, doesn't matter, whether you do it, you don't. My message has always been this, Gayle, is that we should just talk about it. You should just know what your options are and do it. Don't do it. Make the decision that's right for you. But for goodness sake, let's just not make it out of misinformation.
That's so good. Your philosophy of it's your own decision because many doctors are tisk about it now. And you're not saying that. You're not saying tisk or making you feel bad. You make the decision what's right for you, but just at least have the right information when you make your decision. Yeah.
Yeah. We've spent way too much time in this sort of paternalistic mode about, how the medical profession really treats women generally. Women are told what to do. And we're not even given the same options that men are. And that's what I want women to do, to really take back their agency and to say, yeah, I deserve this. I deserve to feel healthy and better and all of that.
I do feel that. I deserve this. I do. When I turned 50, I don't know how they do it, but AARP, the magazine, the next day that damn magazine arrived. I don't know how they knew. I don't know how they knew where I lived, but it was there. And I called them up, Sharon, and said, please don't send me this magazine. I don't want to hear about the early bird specials and all the coupons and all of this. I don't want it. And now I regret that, because I think it's good to spread the word that, you really can live a really great, fulfilling life after the age of 50. But I remember being very offended and was wondering, how did y'all get my number? How did you get my address? But they have it.
Yeah.
They have it. And so that's why I think we have to change the whole narrative, because I so believe that aging is living. Mm-hmm. Aging for me is living.
I have to ask you this, because in all honesty, you are one of the most positive and consistently nice people I know. And I'm sure you have a bad day. You must.
Yes.
But did you notice anything different? I mean, was there any mood component when you were going through this menopause?
I didn't. Oprah always says this. No, because she said, I said, maybe it'll help me be in a better mood. She goes, you can't be in a better mood. He goes, maybe you shouldn't take it. You can't be in a better mood.
Exactly.
Of all the people. Yeah.
Exactly.
If you're needing it for your mood, no, you don't need this medication.
See, speaking of genetics.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't. I honestly can't say that I felt moody or angry or irritated. I can't say that.
Now, I want to ask you something, because as being a swimsuit, a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, how has your relationship with your body changed after 60 and moving on?
Well, I mean, they said that after menopause, I remember a workout guy told me that, it's going to be the M word was metabolism. Your metabolism changes. It's going to be harder to lose weight. All of that is true. Mm-hmm. All of that is very true. The stuff that you used to be able to, knock off in a weekend is no longer the case for my metabolism. But I do know that you have to be very diligent about it. I do exercise a lot. I try to eat better. I'm a big beef girl. I still to this day love a great hamburger.
As do I.
I love a great hamburger, a great cheeseburger. And so I'm very aware of that. I've cut down on red meat. I try to eat more vegetables, more fish, chicken, all that stuff. I know that matters. But I don't want to give up stuff that really give me joy and pleasure. So I'm very aware of that. I'm very aware of you have to exercise harder, that sometimes no matter what you did, you plateau. That was a real thing. But menopause and metabolism definitely changes.
And I think my message has always been, it's a lot easier to not gain a pound in a year than it is to lose 10 years from now. And I
say again, it's a lot easier
to not gain a pound
in a year
than it is to lose 10 years from now.
Yeah.
And so, it's sort of, it gets back to that sort of, prevention, preemptive strikes that we make here. And so it's been something that I've been mindful of forever. You don't get to a certain point, because you do get some, help just with youth, and then that goes away.
Yeah.
And so if you start managing it that way, then it's a little bit easier. And I don't weigh what I weighed when I was 30, nor do I aspire to be.
Michelle Obama was very helpful to me about this. We were talking about this years ago, and she said, Gayle, you're not supposed to have the same body you had at 19.
Right.
And I thought, I guess you're not. You're not supposed to have that body. It's supposed to get a little fuller. That's okay. So, I have a tummy. I embrace cellulite. All of it is okay. All of it is all right.
We are here.
But that said, I don't want to let myself go.
That's exactly right. I think that at this point in our lives, what we're trying to do is that our goal is not to be thin, is to be healthy.
Yes,
so
exactly
we're good with that.
Exactly.
All right. Now, we are at this point where I would like to do a couple of rapid fire questions for you, if you don't mind. All right. And you can take as little or as
I love those.
Okay. So, Gayle, what is your morning routine? The first thing you do every day?
I need 3 snoozes before I get out of bed. That's the first thing I do is hit the alarm button. Some people wake naturally, but I've got morning television. The hours are really dreadful. They're actually really tough. So I need an alarm. Sometimes I need a couple of alarms, but the first thing I do is hit the snooze. I need 3 snoozes before I get out of bed. Somebody told me that they just jump out of bed every morning. They think that it's like a rocket where you just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. I'm not that girl. I'm still laying there. No. I need a minute.
I'm a 1 snooze person. And I have to tell you, it is very annoying when you're a 1 snooze person and you sleep with someone who's a 4, 5 snooze person. Okay.
Well, good thing, Sharon, we don't sleep together because I would get on your nerves because I need 3.
I already have that guy. He's So, all right. So what's your best trick for staying mentally healthy?
I'm a person who really, if there's a problem, how do we fix it? How do we fix it? And if things don't go the way you want them to, I say you have a brief period of bereavement and then you just got to keep it moving. So people that complain and moan, the biggest lesson to me on this was Maya Angelou. I was complaining to her about something that was going on at work, and then they said, and then they did, and she said, stop it. She's the only one as an adult that could I was a grown-up woman at the time. She's the only one that can make you feel like you're 6. Stop it. And I go, stop what? Stop talking. I go, I'm not done telling you the story. She goes, it doesn't matter. Just stop it and just say thank you. I go, what am I saying? Thank you. I'm go, thank you. What am I saying thank you about? She listed all the things that I should be grateful for. And she said, and let me just tell you this, whining is so unbecoming. It lets them know there's a victim in the neighborhood. And I went, whoa, that's pretty damn good. Yeah. So I'm not someone who is interested in hearing whining or complaining. I'm very action oriented, solutions oriented. What do we need to do to fix it? So mentally, and the news is so heavy and so upsetting and so dark to me these days. Mm-hmm. I just try to figure out a way. What can I do to at least give people the truth and let them make their own decisions? That's mm-hmm. what I focus on. Mm-hmm. But it's if you're not careful mentally, you can go down a rabbit hole of darkness. Mm-hmm. And I just refuse to do that. See, so I take great joy out of eating. I love a good meal. I love spending time with friends. I love the movies. I love music. I really love music. I tend to concentrate on things that give me joy and keep me sane because the world is freaking nuts.
It is. And, I love that you're a music fan. I love music, and that is why in my book, I keep putting all these little musical references in.
I know. I love that you did that. Yes.
I can sort of pinpoint many points in my life with a song because I know where I was, I know what I was doing, and this was a song that was out. So tell me,
and what music gives you such pleasure too.
It does. It does.
I went to go see Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico. Mm-hmm. Now, I wasn't really necessarily into Bad Bunny, but I was so fascinated by all the conversation around him. Mm-hmm. So mm-hmm. I went, Sharon, I didn't understand one word other than mommy and papi and corazon, which means heart. But a couple of songs came on and it made the hair stand up on the back of my neck because it was so good. And I saw his reaction on stage and the reaction of the people in the audience. That's why I know music is very healing and gives a lot of pleasure. Music, food, and sports really can unite people in ways that other things cannot.
Okay, so what's your go-to song? The song that you put it on, it instantly.
The one that just makes me smile because it's so goofy is Build Me Up Buttercup. I don't care who you are, no matter where you are, everybody knows, all ages, all colors, all genders, know Build Me Up Buttercup. And that just automatically makes me smile. Why do you fool around? Yeah. Mess around, baby, when you know you. I love that song.
Oh, well, then you're going to see. You and I will make you some playlists because.
And then worst of all, yes, that song just makes me happy.
This has been fantastic. And Gayle, before we go, I want you to just tell me, what advice do you have for women who are entering this stage of life that we're in, what they need to do to feel strong and confident and vibrant?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I say, I like to say, I want to live life at full gallop. Don't be, and I think so many women are afraid, or they think that, they're going through transitions, whether it's in their relationships or whether it's their jobs. And I just think it's so cliche, but you really can get through it, and you can get through it on the other side in ways that you couldn't even have imagined.
And I think it's important to see role models out there of people who are living their lives over 60 and beyond, and doing and being the vibrant selves that they are. I think that gives people something to hope for and to strive for. And as you say, don't be scared.
I'm not hung up on age appropriation. I'm hung up on, does it work for me?
Mm-hmm.
Does it work for me? I don't look at the age. I look at, does it work for me? What is appropriate for me? Am I qualified for this? Or is it, does it give me joy? That's what I focus on.
Gayle, this has been a fantastic conversation. Thank you, thank you, thank you for coming to The Second Opinion.
All right, Sharon. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
And now we've reached the part of the show where I give my doctor's orders. Number 1, hormone therapy is the most effective treatment for the symptoms of menopause. That being said, is it possible to navigate menopause without them? Yes, but make your decision based on your health history, your long-term health goals, and your tolerance for discomfort, not fear. Number 2, healthy aging is built on consistent habits, movement, sleep, joy, and connection. There is no better example than with our guest, Gayle King. Number 3, confidence after 60 is real and available to every woman who embraces who she is now. Join me each week on YouTube or wherever you find your podcasts as I break down topics on menopause and aging. If you enjoyed the show, follow us so you never miss an episode. If you like what you hear, leave a review. You can submit your questions at drsharonmalone.com and click on The Second Opinion. Until next week, take care.